How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another video. So once again, I just want to take a nice kind of chill, sit back video going over just another awesome DC run that I really love to collect. So today I just want to go over with you guys some Brave and the Bold, which in addition to some amazing art, fun characters, has some pretty cool first appearances. A lot of the books you're going to see today won't show off those first appearances because in my last video I included any of my graded first appearance Brave and the Bold books in all of my DC graded first appearances. So if you have more interest in just the first appearances in this run, go ahead and check out my last video where you'll be able to see those there. This is just going to be the raw books that I have in my collection, but again, it is just a great fun run to collect, some amazing artwork, some great stories, fun characters. So we're just going to go over the stack that I have, talk a little bit about it. So let's get into it. Alright, so kicking this off, we have issue 55, which is not the first appearance of the Metal Men, but is an extremely early appearance. And here it features both the Metal Men and the Atom. And I mentioned before that I am a huge fan of the Atom books as well. I have a good amount of his Silver Age run. I just love any time it kind of plays with the size, so Atom, Ant-Man, I'm a big fan of all of that, but just another cool, fun issue, nice and early right here. Like I said, not first appearance of the Metal Men, but pretty early. Then we have issue 58, and so issue 57, right before this, is Metamorpho's first appearance, which I do have in my graded video, but this is an awesome book that, just like his first appearance, showcases all of his powers on the cover, has a little bit of fun with it. This one's not the best shape, does have a little bit of tear up there, but I'm pretty sure I only got it for a couple bucks. It might even have been thrown in on one of my claim sales when I was in my huge bulk buying days. But just another awesome character that's going to be featured in James Gunn's Superman, so that'll be pretty cool to see how it plays out. Then we have issue 61, and again, an awesome purple cover. Looks even better against this yellow background I have for my Voltex binder. So this, I don't think it is his first appearance, but I do believe it is the first Silver Age appearance of this character right here, the villain. We have the Mist. Anybody that knows if it is actually his true can quote me, but I'm pretty sure it is just the first Silver Age. So another one right here, got Starman and Black Canary on the cover as well. Goes over their origin, so this is a nice, cool, early Brave and the Bold to have in the collection. One Day issue 28 will be mine, which is the first appearance of the Justice League themselves. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. As you can imagine, that one is a bit pricey. So here we have 65, an awesome Flash and Doom Patrol cover. And that's another thing I love about any of these early Brave and the Bold books. In addition, like I said, just the artwork and the stories, but I love how it usually combined or paired up different characters, heroes, or different teams. Anytime I have an awesome team up like that, it just makes the book even better, makes it more fun, seeing their interactions, how they get along or don't get along. So it's awesome seeing all the different pairings they chose to come up. All right, and again, another beautiful purple cover right here with that moon. So here we have issue, there we go, blended in for a little bit, 67, Batman and the Flash. Again, this one is just one of the more iconic because, again, you have Batman, Flash, that deep purple cover with the moon. So this one's always a standout. Anytime I see it on shelves in comic shops, I get the urge to pick it up again just because of how gorgeous it is. And again, the stories of these books, too, it's not anything that's going to, break any records, but it is absolutely a fun, good time introducing you to some of these pairings, seeing how they interact. It's just awesome. Then we have issue 68, Batman and Metamorpho. So this is right here as kind of the first appearance, if you will, of the Bat-Hulk. A little play right there. So you have some of his villains on the cover. This weird hulking misshapen Batman fighting Metamorpho. This is one that the cover has always kind of attracted me. So I took a little bit more time trying to find a higher grade copy. And I was very, very successful. And this one is absolutely beautiful. Just a really cool two-tone cover book as well. So that one's really, really fun. And again, they were knocking it out of the park, especially with their color use here. Another beautiful purple with issue 70, Batman vs. Hawkman. This is another one I got in more of a bulk buy, so it's not in the best condition. And it is one I want to be able to upgrade at some point because I do really, really love it. And it is Infantino, which kind of feeds into why I love it that much more. Then we have issue 71, Batman and Green Arrow. Then say, this one again doesn't stand out as much for me. It is nice and fun. You got the giant bird, you got Green Arrow, but other than that, this one is more of a, I needed it for the run, more than it was just one that really, really caught my eye. This next one, though, is a pretty awesome one. So here we have issue 72 with the Spectre and the Flash. This is one of the more, for the run, famous Infantino and Anderson covers. This one is another gorgeous higher grade copy as well. And the cover and artwork on this are just spectacular. The detail work, the shading, the colors, everything. They just absolutely knocked it out of the park with this book. Just beautifully gorgeous. And these, while they're not necessarily cheap, compared to a lot more of the more popular mainstream DC titles, you can get these in relatively good shape for a decent price. Like I said, certain covers specifically in higher grade are going to cost you a little bit, but it's a run that, minus the first appearances, you can kind of collect to the bulk of it without really breaking the bank too bad, especially if you're not overly grade specific like I can be at times. So this is issue 73, the classic Aquaman and Atom cover right here. I am a big fan of, sea creatures, sea monsters, Cthulhu, all of that underwater stuff. So this cover right here, along with some that you're going to see coming up in the future, are just an awesome ones that I really love. All right, then we have issue 74. So Batman and the Metal Men. This cover, more so than as much was going on, I am just a huge fan of the color choices. Of course, you have the Metal Men themselves, which are each a different color, so it lends to it beautifully. But the fact that they chose to almost block out and darken the entire cover, save for the one spotlight of Batman versus the Metal Men, and that way so the colors of the Metal Men themselves stand out that much more as well. Absolutely beautiful book. I love this one. And now we're getting into a pretty popular era for a lot of people. Issue 75, Batman and the Spectre again. So this is where we start getting into the... I don't know if all of them are yet. No, not all of them are yet, but... So we're going to start to dip into more and more of the Neil Adams, which a lot of people, if they're not collecting the whole run, they like to at least pick up those ones. So we're not in his back-to-back yet, but we do have issue 75 here. And it's a grasp of Shanzi, so it's getting a little bit more fun, getting a little bit, still in the 12-cent era. Then we have issue 76 with Batman and Plastic Man. I have mentioned it before in some of my other videos that I am also a huge fan of Plastic Man. I love him and Metamorpho, I kind of like for the same reason, where their bodies can kind of shape-shift into different things in different ways. You just a lot of fun things that you can do with their covers. You can get wacky, you can get crazy, that I think feeds into the Silver Age superhero genre especially well. So any books that feature those two, I always want to pick up just because of how fun they are. Then we have issue 77. This one features Batman and the Atom. Again, nothing too crazy. It's another cool, fun cover we have right here. Doesn't use as much of the size play I normally like in these, but it is kind of cool seeing her hold that gun when she is ridiculously small. Batman doesn't stand a chance. Alright, so this is one that I do also have in my graded collection, and this is also a very nice copy. So this is issue 78, features Batman and Wonder Woman, guest starring Batgirl, and this is actually the first appearance of Copperhead, who we have right here, front and center. So this one is not an overly popular character, but it's a combination of, I love the Brave and the Bold title, I love my purple covers, and I love any first appearance anyway, but any obscure first appearance where the character is the full focal point on the cover, he is just kind of making that big, bold entrance. A lot of the Spider-Man villain first appearances had that going for them, where almost, I'm going to say, a fair number of every first appearance of a major Spider-Man villain, they are on that cover forefront. The only one that kind of got left out a little bit was Kingpin, but either way, that is why I love this book for all the things going for it. And this is, and again, I have I forget the exact grade, it's in the 9, so it's a pretty good copy, But this is another absolutely beautiful copy. Happy to have a raw one as well to go with my whole run, so that one is gorgeous. All right, and now another Neil Adams beauty. We have Batman and the Creeper with issue 80. And this one, somebody can quote me, I could be wrong, but I believe this is the first appearance of the Hellgramite, who we have right here on the cover as well. This is one I've contemplated getting a graded copy as well as keeping this copy, but I don't know if it's an obscure character, but I don't know if even for me, if it's a little too obscure to have in my graded collection. So for now, I have this absolutely gorgeous high-grade Neil Adams copy with the character's first appearance. I've also mentioned in several videos, I'm also a huge fan of the Creeper as well, so that's a really cool book to have. A lot of the ones right in this little bracket, I bought a lot from one collector that were extremely high grade. So when they showed up and arrived, they are just as beautiful as they looked in the photos, and I couldn't be happier. Then we have issue 81, featuring Batman and the Flash, duking it out with Bork, who we have right on the cover. And again, just another absolutely beautiful copy. Does have some spine ticks going down, but overall for the main book, pretty flat, colors pop, looking good. Still in the 12-cent era, which again, artwork for the 12-cent era is absolutely phenomenal. Another one of most people's favorite covers that we have going on the Brave and the Bold title, issue 82. This one, I don't know what it is about it, if it is the underwater monster theme again, Aquaman in that trance state, Batman helpless, but this cover is just absolutely beautiful. It's another one that even though I own it, I want to rebuy it anytime I see it in a comic shop. Just absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, some spine ticks on there, but nothing too crazy, and overall for the whole book, amazing shape. The colors are deep, dark, rich, still absolutely pops, nice and vibrant, still 12-cent. This one is, again, an all-time favorite for me from the run. No real key significance other than just a pretty badass book. Then we have issue 83 with Batman and the Teen Titans. This one, again, nothing too crazy for me, just another one I needed. Kind of classic cover with that dark green background. Again, just all of these ones were in really good shape, and I couldn't have been happier from that seller. Every now and then I get lucky. Then we have issue 86 with Batman and Deadman. This one right here has a little bit more wear going on. You see a little something down the corner right here. Spine's not too bad though. So overall the whole book is pretty decent. It's just that one little spot. Deadman is a character I'm slowly learning more and more about. I've seen him in some stories, some media, but I'm trying to really brush up on him because he's a character that really has my interest. Then we have issue 87 with Batman and Wonder Woman. So this is a 15-cent issue, as well as it's kind of that era of Wonder Woman that people really love to collect. And so you can see with her title right there where the font has that different styling, and she's more in regular clothes instead of her Amazon outfit. Again, it's one of the more famous eras of Wonder Woman that people love to collect. So the fact that she crossed over in Brave and the Bold at that time is pretty cool. So this one right here, again, is another one of my favorites. Issue 88, Batman and Wildcat. Just because I am a huge fan of Wildcat and the character, all the stories they've been able to introduce for him, for the same kind of Daredevil vibes where he's just kind of that street-level fighter, brawler, hero, not hero, anti-hero. Just, I love the character. I love everything they've been able to do with him. And I absolutely love how he is drawn here, where his costume, with just that shadows, the blue hues, just showing off the muscle, the ripped costume, almost like how Venom is drawn every time you see him. Also one of the reasons why I loved Venom growing up as a kid. So this is another awesome cover, one of my favorites in the run. Not as much color going on, but I like everything else that it has going for it. Then we have issue 89. Again, nothing too spectacular with this one. Pretty cool Batman and Phantom Stranger cover right here. I do like the use of either negative space that most of the Phantom Stranger covers have. This one, no different. Most of his covers, though, have him kind of on the cover, but not directly, where it is that negative space that is kind of his silhouette. Another classic for the run issue 90 featuring Batman and Adam Strange. And again, I want to say it wrong, but I know it's Neil Adams, but every now and then there's a book that you think is Neil Adams and you say it and it's not. But this one I'm pretty sure is Neil Adams. So again, I just love the way he draws characters like everybody else does. You have Death right there on the cover. Just a really cool, awesome, spectacular book. So like I said, this is just one of the more fun eras of DC to collect. If you're ever looking for something you don't see every day, I highly recommend Brave and the Bold, just because it has a little bit of everything. And the different pairings of characters make it that much more fun, where it never gets stale. Each issue or every other issue, you have a different team, a different pairing, so it keeps it a little fresh. Each issue is not like the last. Here we have issue 95. And again, nothing too crazy on this one for myself, just one I needed for my run to kind of plug in right there. Then we have, there we go, issue 98. So this is, we're getting a little bit bigger right now, 25 cents, bigger and better. So again, this one is, we're getting a little bit newer right now, but nothing really stood out for me too much. This is just another one of the, not super late, but later ones I needed for my run, and it's a small, cool, contained, fun story. The next one I got, and again, in addition to being a Brave and the Bold fan, so we have issue 101, is because of Metamorpho, who again, I'm a big Metamorpho fan. I love anytime he's utilized, so having him in the story on the cover right here, Batman and Metamorpho, this is one I wanted in my collection. Trying to find a nice, beautiful copy with that black background, and I think I am extremely happy with this copy I was able to procure. Alright, I only got a few more today. Like I said, I don't have a crazy amount. Alright, so then we have issue 113, a 100-page special featuring Batman and the Metal Men. We also have Hawkman, Viking Prince, and Green Arrow. So 100-page issues, I'm actually a little weird. A lot of people love them. If they're in for a good deal or in a run, will pick them up. But I'm not as huge a fan of the 100-page issues as some people are. Like I said, not that I dislike them, I just know that some people go crazy for these, whereas for me, it's more of a opportunity buy based on condition or price. Alright, and then we're getting really out there with issue 199, Batman versus the Spectre again. So again, nothing too crazy on here. Pretty sure I just got this one lumped in with a deal with some of the others right now. Like I said, this isn't a run I'm looking to 100% complete. Just picking up the issues and stories that I personally want to collect. And so these next ones technically aren't Brave and the Bold. More of a reprinting of sorts, where you have the best of the Brave and the Bold. So this is issue number 3, and is it a 6-issue miniseries. And again, it says right down here, so it is representing a classic tale by Bob Haney and Neil Adams. So this one has Batman and Aquaman right here. So a lot of the covers are not direct copies, but more an artistic interpretation homage of some of the other covers we've already seen. So fresh artwork, but maybe it is from a scenario we've seen in a different time in that battle, from a different point of view of that battle. So it's very reminiscent of what we've seen, but with its own spin on it, which is why I like these covers. So again, like this one right here, Best of Brave and the Bold issue 4 with Batman the Creeper again. Not a cover we've seen before, but still an awesome cover that is kind of that interpretation of different stories of characters. So a classic confrontation by Bob Haney, Neil Adams, and Nick Giordano. There we go. I don't know why that took me more than it should have. But we have Creeper, Batman, Hellgramite lurking down here. So you can already tell from the books we've looked at which stories are going to be contained in this issue. And the last one that I currently have is issue number 5 from Best of the Brave and the Bold. So this is Batman and the House of Mystery, representing a classic tale by Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams. This is one I'm sure everybody's seen, the kind of popular Batman House of Mystery cover. So again, a different play on that. I love that you have this giant mansion, the ears on the castle, the eyes with the bat logo lighting up, lightning in the background, kid running scared. Just an absolutely beautiful, fun book fits into the creepy Halloween macabre vibes of both Batman and House of Mystery. They absolutely knocked it out of the park with this cover. That is all we have today, folks, just showing off another fun run that I love to collect. And like I said, I started out with Amazing Spider-Man as I was a kid, and then as I grew up and I was into Batman, but it wasn't until I think after high school that I actually started picking up Batman Weekly, thanks to Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, and I stuck with those two for the longest time. And it wasn't until I started collecting some Silver Age Flash that I really got introduced to a lot more of these amazing, I want to say obscure. If you've been in comics, they're not obscure, but for anybody that's kind of outside, hasn't really made their way in yet, titles like Brave and the Bold, Showcase, The Spectre, Strange Adventures, all of these titles that you don't quite hear as mainstream are absolutely phenomenal. Some amazing art. I love Plastic Man also. Just the wackiness, the craziness of it. There is so much out there that if you ever get bummed out trying to collect some of the more popular runs that are expensive, hard to get, and you're just in it for the love of books, artwork, and stories, I highly recommend looking around at some of these other lesser known DC and Marvel titles. Especially, I'm kind of biased towards the Silver Age. I just love everything about that era, the feel of it, the stories, the artwork, the artists that were prominent in those times. It just really speaks to me, and so I gravitate more towards that and then trickle into Bronze Age. But hopefully you guys like seeing some of these books. I know most of you have probably already seen all these, plus some. Hopefully some of you guys watching the video, some of these were new to you. But if you liked this, check out my Instagram as well, Conlin's Comics. I always say it is more of the books, less of the talking. But if you stuck with it this long, thank you guys very much. Until next time.